know me, or if you've never been here before, welcome. My name is Rachel and I'm the owner and creator here at the Eclectic Cottage in Spokane, Washington. Today is Friday and I've been working diligently throughout the week getting some projects done for today's video. So I managed to get 4 projects completed for today and I really love how they all came out. I can't wait to show them to you. And I hope you like the video. If you do, please remember to give it a thumbs up. And I would love to hear at the end what your favorite project was. So please comment and let me know. I always like to hear from you guys anyway. And if you want to see more kind of behind the scenes here at the cottage, my DIYs and my thrift flips and my furniture flips and some of the other craziness that goes on, please think about subscribing to my channel. And then if you just hit the little notification bell, that will let you know when I upload new content so you don't miss anything. So anyway, I hope you liked today's video, and if you don't already know, any of the sweet Pickins or DIY products that I used in today's video can be purchased here in the cottage or online through my web shop at www.theeclecticcottagespokane.com. If you have any questions, you can also ask me those in the comments. And again, I hope you like the projects, and I will see you at the end of the video. So project 1 is this cute little ceramic rooster that I've had for a while now. It had some chips in its paint and I knew I wanted to give it a new paint job. So I took it outside and I gave it a nice coat of a black matte spray paint. Couple reasons I did this. First of all, this will give the DIY paint a little bit more to adhere to. And secondly, if I do accidentally remove any of the paint during the waxing process, it'll go back to this black rather than the original color. Once the black paint is dry, I grabbed a brand new color to me from DIY. This is Pedal Pusher. It's this beautiful blue color. And you'll see in the very last project why I picked the colors for today's projects that I did. But I really am liking this color. So I gave this 2 even coats of Pedal Pusher. And of course I stipple this on not only to give it a little bit of texture, but just because I really don't like brush strokes in my pieces. Once the paint is completely dry, I take my nice soft bristle brush and my DIY clear wax and I begin the sealing process. Now, as you know, DIY paint is porous and it can be reactivated with water. So no matter what, you always want to make sure and seal it with something. You can use Big Top or wax or polyacrylic, whatever you want to use, but it really does need to be sealed. So for this, like I said, I just used my clear wax, brushing that on and then wiping back any excess with a shop towel. And then I decided to go ahead and use some dark wax over it. So anytime you're using the darker waxes, dark and black, you definitely want to start with a layer of clear wax. It just makes moving the dark wax around a little easier. I also thinned my dark wax just a little with some mineral spirits, but you can see I'm just kind of working that dark wax into all the nooks and crannies of this rooster, slowly and gently wiping it back with a shop towel and just making sure that if there's any spots I miss, I just kind of go over those again, wipe it back, and then this little rooster is finished. And I really like how he came out. For project 2, I have these 2 candle holders I've had for a while now. Somebody had painted these and did a really terrible job, and so I decided I wanted to give them a good base coat of black just so that when I distress them, I went back to a color I chose instead of the gray color they chose. Once that was done, I started with Gypsy Green by DIY, and I gave each one of these candle holders 2 really good even coats of DIY paint. I love this Gypsy Green color. And again, at the end and the last project, you'll see why I picked the colors that I did for today's projects. Once the paint was dry, I went in with my damp shop towel and began the process of distressing them. Now these guys have a metal piece that's the actual candle holder part of them that will sit on top, and I spray painted them black and I left them black. So I really wanted to bring a lot of that black color through the green paint. So I'm pretty heavily distressing both of these guys. Once that's done and they're dry again, I am going in with my DIY clear wax first and giving it a good coat of clear wax, wiping that back, and then going in with my DIY dark wax and then wiping the excess back from that. Now, as I did this, I must have nicked one of the corners of the candle holder, so there's a little bit of white shining through. So luckily, since they were black to begin with, I just fixed it with a Sharpie, and then these guys were done. Project 3 is this box that I bought some time ago. I love doing these boxes. They're just fun. This one was this ugly bright red. I'm sorry, I'm just not a big fan of red. So I treated it the same as I did the other two projects because I want all of these to go in together in one vignette with the fourth and final project that you'll see at the end. And there's a reason again that I'm picking the colors that I picked for all of these guys. And so I started off with my base coat of black, and I'm going over this one with 3 good even coats of Summer Crush by DIY. Now the reason I needed to do 3, I think, is because the paint underneath was so slick that even with the spray paint on there, the DIY paint was not sticking as well as I would have liked. So I just went ahead and gave it 1 extra coat. Now, since I had to do that, there were a couple brush stroke marks that were pretty heavy in a couple places. So I just went over the whole thing with some 220 grit sandpaper just to smooth everything out and make it all look nice and even. Then it was on to distressing. So again, I'm just using my damp shop towel to wipe back some of that Summer Crush color and reveal that black underneath. I really wanted this box to go really well with the candle holders. So again, I am giving it kind of a nice heavy distressing. I cleaned up the bottom, and once the paint was all dry, I was ready to move on to waxing. I'm using the same technique as I did with the other 2 pieces, going over this once with DIY clear wax and giving the whole thing a really good coat of that clear wax, and then following that up with the dark wax. Now you'll see here on these flowers, I really wanted to work that wax down into all the nooks and crannies and the grooves in them. And then I started the wiping back process, but they still looked a little gunky. So what I did is I just took a little bit of mineral spirits, wiped most of it back off of my brush, and then went over the roses with that just to kind of move some of that excess wax out of some of the nooks and crannies. I liked this look a lot better, and then I went about finishing up the dark waxing of the rest of the piece. Once that's all done, it's just time to put the lid back on, and then this project is complete. And I can't wait to show you the next project so you'll understand why I picked the colors that I did for today's projects. So my fourth and final project is this cute little stool that I found a while ago. It has a top on it that I've already taken off, and I am just giving it a good bath, a little bit of crud cutter followed by some clean water, getting it ready for paint. And for the paint for this one, I picked a Sweet Pickins milk paint color called Sweet Potato. I absolutely love this color. It's not quite orange, it's not quite brown, it's kind of a middle in between, but I just love it for a summer or a fall color. I actually mixed up my paint just a little thinner than I normally do, and so I ended up having to go over this 3 times with the paint, but that's okay. And then just watch for drips. Once it was done and completely dry, I took it outside and used my 220 grit sandpaper and my orbital sander to give it a good sand. Since this was mostly flat surfaces, the orbital just made it a little bit easier than doing it by hand. Once that was done, I took it back inside and sealed the paint. Sweet Pickins milk paint is also porous, and you need to seal it. So I'm using Sweet Pickins clear oil wax, and I'm using a chip brush to put it on, and then you let it set for about 15 minutes and then come back and wipe it off. And I'm just doing that with a simple shop towel. And I love the feel of this paint when it's sealed. It's so smooth. It's like an eggshell. It's just beautiful. So next up is reupholstering the top of this thing. And first step was taking off the really ugly red vinyl that was there originally. And so I'm taking out all the staples one by one, just using my flat screwdriver, trying not to stab myself. And then once the staples are loose, I just take my wire cutters and pull each one of them out. Now it's really handy because I have a screwdriver that has a magnet at the end, so I can pick up all those random pieces of metal, which makes it nice so I don't stab myself with any of them. And then once I'm done, I just take that ugly vinyl, throw that away, and move on to the next step. So this fabric is basically the reason I chose the colors that I did for all of the projects in today's video. They all coordinate. This fabric's got greens and oranges and a little bit of red and blues, even a little bit of like a dark maroony plum color. It's just a pretty, pretty fabric. I was excited to get to use it. So I cut it out where it needed to be and then began the process of recovering the little stool top. So here I am. I always start with each side and just pull the fabric taut. And then I go around and finish up with the corners. I staple right up to where the corner is, pull that fabric up, and then just put 3 staples in it to hold it. Once that was done and I was done stapling all the fabric down, I went ahead and grabbed my fabric scissors again and just kind of cleaned up the bottom of this piece a little bit and just cut off those little tails that are kind of left behind. Little bit of excess fabric that was left, and just made sure that this looked pretty good on the bottom as well. I absolutely love how this piece came out, and there's the top, and then I went ahead and put it onto the bench itself. And there you go. Such a cute little piece. Think of today's video. I hope you really liked it, and please remember, if you did, to give it a thumbs up, and then also remember to comment below and let me know which of the projects your favorite was. For me, it was definitely the little bench with the that beautiful fabric on it. I love the fact that that fabric brings so many colors together and has the opportunity for me to use colors that are great not only for summer, but that will transition right into fall, which is pretty awesome. There's even a little bit of a color that's close to cherry picked by DIY, so at some point I might actually use some cherry picked on something. We'll see. Anyway, if you haven't already, please think about subscribing to my channel, and I will hopefully see you all back here on Tuesday. I am pretty sure we are going to be doing a thrift haul. At least I hope we actually get a haul this go around. God knows the last few, we really haven't found a whole heck of a lot. So hopefully Sunday will be better. So please join me for that. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you then. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.